Good to see you, DJ. I was I didn't expect you to come this week after your team had the most embarrassing loss of week one. What happened there?
It's nothing to worry about. It's the Green Bay Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Let's move on and win 14 and 13 games. Doesn't fucking matter.
So that's what you're saying, but I have a feeling that just on the low, you've just been boozing to numb the pain, right?
Nope, don't care. It literally hasn't bothered me at all. You would like that. I know. You wanted me to play into it, but no, fuck that.
Well, here it is. I'm just going to chalk you up as a liar, and I'm going to feed your addiction. So let's get loaded because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Welcome back to the Loaded Box Podcast. Ben Morgan, DJ Primo, week 2 of the NFL season. And DJ, you warned me, as I told you beforehand, because we always crack a beer. That's the that's what we do on this when we kick off an episode. And you said, "Hey, man, the bottle's a little bit risky. You need to flick it, and it needs to hit the table." And I don't know if you're watching right now on YouTube and Twitter. I had to flick the damn thing off. I am semi-pro at best at that.
Yeah, it's tough. You really have to really get into it and hit it the first time.
See that my accuracy was about the same level as Aaron Rodgers' last week, so I'm in good company according to you.
Not shot on that interception. We would have, if they score a touchdown, we win that game on that drive where he throws a pick. So
I love it, and I purposely put your first bet today first on our list so we could just go right into the Packers. But before we start talking about week 2, we got to do a quick recap of how things finished last week because DJ, it was pretty damn good. I went under 500 and finished plus units because of that Dolphins play that I had. So I actually went 2 and 3, which is not great, but I did finish plus 0.1 units. So I am up money wise. But man,
4 and 3, right?
You carried the squad. You were 4 and 3, so you were above 500, and you hit the ones that count. You are already plus 1.3 units. So if you're doing $10 for every 0.1 unit, you're already up $130. People are just cashing in on you.
Like if you didn't bet the line that I got for the Niners on Wednesday,
that's true.
You got fucked like I did on Sunday when they were up 38 to freaking 10, and then stopped playing football and had the onside kick. Green Bay Packers against the Seattle Seahawks catastrophe, and then a turnover, which almost led to a chance for them to score a touchdown. And the Lions are atrociously bad. They are atrociously bad, just as I predicted. And the Niners just like went incompetent after they took a huge lead.
Well, man, it was week 1 for everybody, but that's the beauty of it. So I feel great going into week 2 because I'm plus units and under 500 for the season. So, hey, man, we ride or die. Whether you're house money, whether you're chasing, we're here for you. We've got you. We're having beers. Let's kick this thing off. Let's go right into your first one. DJ, what do you got for us in that Packers game?
Oh, that's my first one all of a sudden?
Yeah, you know what was coming.
It's a Monday night game, but we're going to do it first. So I have action on this game. I wanted to double down. I'm going to bet on the Packers. But my favorite bet of that game, I was going to double down and take them. What do you have them at? I think it's at 10.5 now or 11 at this point.
I saw like 11 this morning. Yeah.
But I'm going to take the over because there's no way in hell Aaron Rodgers doesn't drop a minimum of 35 points. A minimum. I'm guaranteeing you all a minimum of 35 points out of the Green Bay Packers. And they're going to get off to a quick, fast start. Lions can't run the balls as well as they can't do anything as well as what the Saints did last week. They don't have Alvin Kamara.
Right.
And that run game that they had to control it. I mean, that was really all it came down to. Jameis Winston had 93 yards up to that last touchdown pass. And so what? That put him at 150 yards. Still didn't have he had a lot of touchdown passes, but it was all because they were inside like the 10. And then, I mean, they ran some play actions.
I just love that a third of his completions went for touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, and
it's amazing.
I mean, one of them was a toss to Kamara, which was basically a running play anyways. So that's not going to happen again. I mean, it was a preseason game for Aaron Rodgers and the starters. They didn't play a single second in the preseason. They have a brand new defensive coordinator. They're still figuring that out. Their defensive line and linebackers still struggle a little bit against the run. But also you're playing against Alvin Kamara. So like whether they struggle against the run or they don't, it's still Alvin Kamara. So he's one of the best backs in the NFL. But they're going to score a ton. And the Lions will score. So what do they have to score? Like
14 to go to your
prediction. Yeah. They can score 14 points after we go up, 38-0 or something like that. Like No big deal. Smash that over. I think I have 0.5 units on that one. I really do think the Packers will go into the 40s.
Yeah, you got 0.5 units on it. And let's just say you do have the Packers scoring 30, 35 points, whatever. Is the Packers defense as bad as what it was against the Saints there? Like, is that what we're going to get used to? Because they couldn't stop anything is what it seemed like. Like, I wasn't paying full-fledged attention to that because it was at the same time as the Dolphins game. But I swear, every time I was looking over at it, the margin of the score continued to increase.
Well, they couldn't pass rush like they wanted to because they were running so well. So that just like neutralized Smiths and Gary. And they were just running it down their throat. So they're controlling the ball. They were controlling it so well. We hit the ball 3 times, and one was in the last minute in the first half. It felt like it was a continuous clock. They couldn't get into a rhythm. They couldn't get the ball to get into a rhythm, and they executed their game perfectly. I think if they play that game in week 4, Green Bay beats them by 20 points. They just got lucky. I didn't even think about the fact that it was like a preseason game for them. I was on the wrong side. I'm not worried. It's Aaron Rodgers. I was watching the McAfee show. He goes, I got an audience here. I've got Aubrey in the back and my son right here is Iron Man and the dog. This is getting ridiculous. He said,
standing room only at the Primos.
Yes. On the Pat McAfee show, he's like, you know what? Everybody's talking crap about us, deservedly so. But you know what? It's just going to flip in a week. And I just love his cockiness and his confidence in his abilities. I have no worries. Their offensive line.
I just love how open. I love how open he is with McAfee.
Yeah, he's super open. He talks, but the offensive line struggled. But I didn't struggle that much as bad as people thought. Rodgers maybe held the ball a little bit too long, especially on that interception to get that nut shot. That shouldn't have happened. But yeah, I mean, the offensive line played fine. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. I'm saying a lot of things. They're going to score points.
Yeah, I've had a one-liner just in my holster for like a minute and a half now, so it's not even going to make sense. But you made reference to a continuous clock, and I was going to say that's because they were down by so much that the NFL just decided to do a continuous clock.
This was in the first half, dick face.
I love that you have a child in a Halloween costume behind you.
No, it's not even. It's his Iron Man mask. It's not even a costume. He just bought it at Target.
It's freaking me out. I'm fairly scared at this point in time.
You should.
Let's move on to another one you've got, because you've got another pretty good unit amount on this one. You got 0.4 units on this Bills and Dolphins game. What are you feeling here?
After watching a little bit of Tua and that Dolphins game, I'm even more convinced where they should have probably lost, but the turnover, whatever, the defense saved Tua as usual. I'm even more convinced that Tua is just not the answer for the Miami Dolphins. Like he's just not it. He's not the long-term answer. The organization has questions about him. He's not that good. He makes dumb plays. Aaron Rodgers is. We know who he is. I know that you're going to try to get 2 interceptions. Blah blah blah. Stop that. Get out of here. Jesus Christ. But Tua, he ain't the guy, man. The noodle arm.
Can you just say positive things about the Bills instead of negative things against the Dolphins?
The Bills are really good. The Dolphins are, and Tua's not. Okay, so 3.5 points isn't enough. They're giving too much credit to that defense. They just are coming off of a loss against the Patriots team, a Steelers team, who I don't know. They didn't look that good. I don't know how they ended up winning that game. It's gonna suck for you when they outwin the Dolphins and you owe me like $50 more or whatever. But the Bills are good and the Dolphins aren't when it comes down to it, and the spread's too close, especially coming off that loss.
If I were a betting man, which I am, I would take the Bills in this one as well. However, it's not 2019 anymore, so I am done betting against the Miami Dolphins. I don't hate that play. I'm actually surprised the spread isn't a little bit bigger. Do we really see the Buffalo Bills going 0-2?
No,
that just doesn't sit well with me. I was kind of hoping, despite being a Dolphins fan last week, watching that game against Pittsburgh, I'm like, come on, Bills, eke this one out. You can't be 0-1 going into this game against the Dolphins. That's
what the Lions are thinking.
I've got feelings on what yeah, exactly. I've got feelings on what you said about Tua and the team, but since I'm not on this one and everyone on this podcast has heard how I feel, and it's pretty obvious with me wearing a Dolphins shirt, I don't even need to go into that.
I haven't heard anybody ever say anything good about Tua ever anymore at all.
What about me?
Just you. You don't count though. Like national media, your local media is probably trashing him at this. You don't even know. You don't live in Miami, so You could
just
but
a
you're too
matter
scared.
of time, DJ. The beginning of this schedule is terrible. I have very low expectations for Sunday for Tua and the Dolphins. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
Give it to about week 6 or 7, and then on, you are going to see a stretch of just fantastic football led by Tua Tagovailoa, and you're going to love it. You're going to be on my side on this eventually.
He can't even run. Like, he has nothing going for him.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. Let's go into to my first one, because you actually have a play kind of on the other side of this. I'm going to lead things off of my bets with my 2-team teaser of the week. I'm bumping the Broncos down to a pick'em at Jacksonville, and I'm bumping the Patriots down to a pick'em at the Jets. And I know I got off to a rough start. I didn't win my 2-team teaser last week, but I'm putting 0.2 units on this one. I mean, look at that Jags and Texans game last week. What in the hell? We both had the Texans going 0-17. And I told you in that season preview podcast, like, damn it, you know what? If the Texans are going to win a game, it's going to be week 1.
Right. Yep.
Well, guess what? They're not playing a rookie quarterback this time around. They're not playing a team that's kind of in dysfunction with a brand new head coach. Broncos in a pick'em. I don't want to say anything in the NFL seems easy, but I'm going to take my chances with that one. And the Patriots, I said it to our Loaded Box group message after that game against the Dolphins. I didn't want to say this. I didn't want to believe in Mac Jones. And it's not like he was taking like super aggressive passes downfield and just wowing you with his arm. But the dude was reading defenses. He was recognizing blitzes. He was hitting the open guy. And there's something to be said for that. In your first ever NFL start, Mac Jones, you okay?
Oh, you're back to that again?
No, I'm to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You're doing the teaser.
Are you having a stroke?
No, you're doing the teaser. I forgot that you weren't just talking about the Broncos still. So I thought you were talking about Bridgewater. So I got confused. I got lost in the tease.
It's okay. You've been drinking a lot. It's okay.
No, I got lost in the tease.
It's okay. You got to deal with your pain.
These stupid teases, and you talk about more than one team that you're picking. And I got lost in the tease. My head was focused on the Broncos.
Alcohol. And they're going up against the Jets, who actually was a closer spread against the Panthers than I ever envisioned. But I don't see that going against the Patriots. That Patriots defense is pretty solid. I don't think it's the best defense that they've had in recent history, but they're going to cause problems. Like, they're going to get to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson got baptized. I forgot who it was that hit him for the Panthers. So he had his welcome to the NFL moment, but I think New England's going to be there giving him a few more. I like this tease. I'm not going to go crazy on it just because Broncos it's Teddy Bridgewater. You don't have Jerry Jeudy. I'm not concerned about it. I'm not going out of my way to try to pay the rent with this bet. I just want to have it out there for a little entertainment. 0.2 units, Broncos, Pats.
It doesn't sound like you're even confident in the tease that you had. I was going to talk about this. I talked about this last week. I was going to talk about the Giants Broncos over that I was betting. Now I can sit here and I can rip the fucking Giants to pieces. I think you're giving the Broncos too much credit. This is a really bad Giants team. As I said, as I predicted, I bet the over because of all these idiots who are Giants fans who just thought their offense was going to be good. They're not. Daniel Jones still sucks. Saquon Barkley can't run because the offensive line is terrible. Daniel Jones is just bad. He's straight up a bad quarterback. This is his last year as a New York Giants starting quarterback. He's bad. That's all it comes down to. He can't help himself but be an incompetent idiot on the football field. I'm
oddly excited for Thursday night because I think Washington's defense is going to be a test. Like, they gave Herbert and the Chargers a pretty good run in that game. And Herbert and the Chargers are 100% more competent than Daniel Jones and the Giants. I'm sitting Saquon Barkley in at least one of the 2 fantasy leagues that I have him in. Like, I just don't trust them right now.
Yeah, I mean, their offense, like I said, offensive line is incompetent. Daniel Jones is incompetent. It doesn't matter who his weapons are. Yeah. They're pathetic. I'm glad that game went under. That was a bet I was happy to lose because the Giants are fucking pathetic. And we're giving a bad Broncos team too much credit. They're not good either. And I'm just going to go right into my game. Fuck it.
Bleed into it.
I'm taking the Jags plus the 6 versus the Broncos. Obviously, the Jags they looked bad in that first game. Urban Meyer just refused to run the ball. He refused to run the ball with James Robinson at all. I don't think he touched the ball he touched the ball once until in middle of the second. It was pathetic. They just weren't running the ball. do you want to put a rookie quarterback in a situation where he's just throwing the ball constantly and now they're down because you're not putting him in a good situation with a good running back who's proven himself and now he has to throw even more when they know you're going to throw it? Urban Meyer's incompetent.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's not made for the NFL. He's about to leave after 5 or 6 weeks and go to USC. His response today, I don't know if you saw his response to the media asking him. He couldn't even look them in the eyes. He muttered under his breath that he's like, no chance. Nobody believes you, Urban Meyer. Nobody's believed you. Nobody's believed you since you said you had health problems at Florida, and then Ben tried to defend you, and then you go and work for ESPN, and then you go and work for Ohio State.
He did. Imagine if you had your coach in a team that had like 3 murderers on it. Your heart would have some issues too, DJ.
Yeah, he worked for ESPN. The guy's a scumbag. He doesn't. You can't believe a word he says. He's going to be at USC. I almost felt like he smirked a little bit when he said no chance. And it was like, yeah, I'm going there at some point here. Like they had to have a plan in place to fire Clayton Helton, and I think Urban Meyer's part of it. But yeah, I do think they will establish that run game. The Broncos' weakest part of their defense has always been that run defense. So I think James Robinson's going to take care of that. They're going to slow the game or take advantage of that. They're going to slow the game down. So I feel like this game opened up at literally the Broncos won. I think it went from 1 to 5.5, now 6. So I'm getting a 5-point difference with the Jags. There's a reason it opened up at 1. I know everybody's on the Broncos because what they saw the Jags and the Broncos beat the crappy Giants. Broncos aren't that good. And I don't think the Jaguars are. They're bad. I just think they can be better than that if they establish a run game.
I mean, I honestly can't get on that because I have the Broncos as a pick 'em in my. Yeah, you got them for 0.1. I have them obviously as a teaser. I don't like it at 6 either way, but I like the Broncos. Okay, you're telling me week 2, brand new quarterback who just threw 3 interceptions in his debut, a debut for the head coach, going against Mr. Reliable and Teddy Bridgewater and a solid defense for the Broncos. That's why I like it teased. I just want to pick the winner in this one. That's why I don't even have a feeling on yours because I don't really trust them by a touchdown either. But I wouldn't bet on the Jaguars on that side.
I think I might bet the Jaguars money line because I think I might bet Jaguars money line because I think people are so confident about the Broncos. They're almost too confident. It makes me suspicious.
Unreal. I don't like that. I'm sorry.
I'm uncomfortable with it, so I'm very comfortable with that bet.
So you're comfortable. There it is. You had to break it out. We'll go to my next one here. I'm doubling down on the damn Panthers. I got hooked last week. I should have told people to buy the damn hook. Lost that game to the Jets. However, I'm taking advantage of some week 1 observations here because the Saints completely muck-ducked the Packers, right? And the Panthers had a close-ish game against the Jets. And now I'm going back to my preseason theory of I don't think the Saints are all that good, and I think the Panthers are going to get out to a pretty decent start before the schedule gets real. So I think the Panthers can win this game outright. I was tempted to go money line on this, but I like the idea of getting 3 points and just protecting myself from a field goal loss. So I have a theme today. All of my games are 0.2 units, but I'm taking the Panthers in this one. They're at home. I'm not a huge believer. What have we seen from Jameis Winston in the past? The dude will throw 3-4 touchdowns.
If you're going to stop the run, the Saints aren't going to be that good. I really don't think the Saints are that good. They just is a product of a good timing with the Packers. I like this bet, honestly. So I almost put this one on mine.
Yeah.
On my board, but I didn't want to come off as salty. I truly don't think they're that good. I think it was very, very good timing. Jameis is they're not going to be able to run a run game like that every fucking game. There's going to be better run defenses than the Packers who came off of preseason without playing starters. Okay. So it's not going to be that easy every game. It just isn't.
Yeah. And where I was going with that is how often does Winston put back-to-back bangers like that together?
Well, he has, eye surgery.
He got LASIK.
We don't know this, Jameis. So I might, if he plays good 6 games in, I'm changing his first name.
2?
I don't know. I'll have to decide.
What does he look like? Because your idea here for anyone that's new is Ryan Tannehill is no longer Ryan because he's Tyler, because he's a brand new person. But Tyler fits him because Ryan Tannehill, if he wasn't a Ryan, he'd be a damn good Tyler.
He looks like a Tyler, 100%.
He does.
I actually forget that his name is Ryan all the time. I'm not even kidding. So I just call him Tyler.
What is Jameis? Jameis has to have like an old man's name. Like Jameis kind of has like that old.
We have to see if he's truly is a different quarterback first.
You're right. We don't even need to cross that bridge until we get there, because I don't think we're going to get there.
There is nothing I hate worse. If you're wondering why we started busting out laughing, when we get these sleeper app notifications this, I just want to blast the phone through the wall. It's like they can hear me. There's times I talk about a team, and like they can hear me talk about it. It literally says Barkley unlikely to be unleashed against the Washington Football Club. I'm like, do they hear me talking about them? What are the chances? But it's like unleashed. They can't unleash him because their offensive line is a pile of garbage. They're just buckets of garbage sitting there trying to block.
We've talked about this, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners probably play fantasy on Sleeper. And I don't mind like the breaking news stuff when there's like traded draft picks or we get injury stuff. But when you're sitting there and you get a notification that Terry McLaurin ate lunch with Taylor Heineke today, they've got a connection. Fuck off. Yeah. Like, you're making me look at my phone for this. Come on, get out of here. DJ, before we go to your next bet, I want to tell people that despite the fact that we're recording this on September 15th, grilling season is not over, people, especially like us. I mean, we live in Wisconsin.
You're a Wisconsinite, yeah.
Grilling season for me is never over. Like if it's super cold or if it's snowy, I just put my grill in the garage and pop the door open.
I'll just move it right next to my back porch. I'll take one step out and it'll be right there every time.
Thought you were going to say your basement and get real crazy.
Yeah, just fucking pop out the window.
But why I'm telling you that grilling season is far from over is because if you go to mangrate.com, you're going to get 25% off your grates and your brushes when you use promo code LOADED. So those grates, the theory behind it is you're going to heat those up. And then instead of trying to have to find the hot spots on your grill, because you know all grills aren't created equally, that grate's going to get equally hot. That meat is going to get done to perfection. It's not going to stick. You're going to have the perfect grill marks on there. Everything that you need and what you see at like a restaurant when you get like an unbelievable steak or a great piece of chicken that has the lines on it, you can do that at home. You got to go to mangrate.com, get some grate, get some brushes, 25% off, promo code LOADED. With that, DJ, let's get back into the gambling. Speaking of Tyler Tannehill, you got to play on the Titans.
All right. Go. So I love the Titans this week because this is the case. I love week 2 because I'm not an overreaction guy. I play the opposite of the overreaction, and everybody's going to overreact to Tennessee getting whooped by Arizona, same way they're going to overreact to the Packers, and everyone's going to overreact to Seattle beating the Colts. Where everybody's like, "Oh, Russell Wilson's back, and they got a new offensive coordinator." No, this is Russell Wilson in the first half of the season. This is who he is. This is what you're going to see in the second half. It's going to slow down a little bit, and then they're going to play just a bunch of close games. But the Tennessee Titans aren't as bad as you saw. Taylor Lewan was garbage, and he admitted how garbage he was. He could not block Chandler Jones whatsoever. Chandler Jones is good. Taylor Lewan used to be an elite left tackle. He got injured last year. He's working his way back, maybe not fully confident. Maybe that even woke up some confidence in him, like, hey, I can play an entire game. He did get benched. I'm confident he'll be starting, be playing better. The Seahawks don't have the same pass rusher as a Chandler Jones as well. So if they do need to give him help, they can adjust to that. The Titans are a good offensive football team. They'll be able to run the ball. They'll be able to throw the ball on the Seahawks defense. The part I worry about is obviously the defensive side of the ball, but they will not be this bad. They will not be turning the ball over and making the defense. Again, the Packers and the Titans essentially played the same game. They couldn't get in a rhythm. They did stupid shit and turnovers, but they're actually better than what you saw. It was week 1. Not that big of a deal. Do not overreact to the Titans. This is my favorite play of the week. Titans plus 5.5. Give me 0.7 units on that.
Oh, I like it. I missed it. I didn't realize this was your biggest one. And honestly, this is the one of yours that I'm probably on the most as well. So take that however you want. That usually doesn't bode well for us. But yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. There was 2 things that stood out as to why I left it off, because I was going to add it on. Number 1 was first half of the season, Seattle. They always look like world beaters. They look like they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Like, what if that happens again? Then they only got to win by a touchdown.
But if they win and play awesome, but the Titans play awesome, then you still have that big offensive game from both, but it's going to be tight. So I think the Titans can win, but I think you see a big game out of either, if not both the teams, and it's going to come down to like the last possession.
Yeah. The other thing that I learned today, actually, which scared me off, was I had to Google his name. The new Titans offensive coordinator is named Todd Downing. And I don't know too much about him, but the little bit that I was able to read today was talking about not straight up incompetence as an offensive coordinator, but people were dogging him. Like, this is not going to be a good fit for like Ryan Tannehill. Like that's what they were getting at from like the little skimming of it that I did. So I was like, well, Jesus, they had it going on the last couple of years with Arthur Smith. Like that offense was going through Derrick Henry, and Tannehill was looking like a top freaking 6-7 quarterback in the league, the way he was getting the ball to A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith last year. And you're thinking, well, we lost Jonnu Smith, but hey, we replaced him with a Hall of Famer in Julio Jones. Shouldn't matter all that much. Julio didn't look good. He had drops. He had a personal foul call, like on something that he did, and the coach was already calling him out on that. A.J. Brown had the touchdown, which was nice.
Yes, he did. That was a nice fucking play, too.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry never got going. The offensive line couldn't protect. I know you're going to give me shit for this, but Ryan Tannehill was back with his pocket presence.
No,
like, it was a combination of both.
You can't throw the ball when there's a guy on your dick when you turn around. If you turn around and there's a guy standing there, what are you supposed to do?
Throw it behind your back.
He literally was turning around and Chandler Jones was standing there.
Do what Mac Jones did on his first ever.
Yeah, he threw it backwards or whatever. Yeah.
So great. So honestly, yeah, DJ, this is your play that I like the best, but those two reasons are why I didn't bet on it. I talk about this every week when we do these shows. This is going to be a Sunday morning. I got a little bit of an itch. I'll probably put like a very small play on it just because I think you're on the right side and I don't want to risk a bunch on it.
I wish you guys could feel my itches. Like I tell myself every week, I'm only going to bet the games that I picked. And if I don't have like an afternoon game, I'll bet one. And then I just start adding games and throwing parlays and then throwing teasers and a money line parlay in there. And I just lose control of all my urges. I would have made money if I listened to myself last week. I lost money because I bet the afternoon slate. If I would have bet only the games that I picked, I would have won money. I would have won money. And I went crazy in the afternoon because I had a $50 teaser. The first, like it was beautiful, and then I lost it all plus more in the afternoon games.
You want to know what got
me? And I live bet the Packers like 3 times.
Oh Christ, that's hell when they don't score.
Oh, it was so bad.
What got me on Sunday morning was one of my kids woke up way too damn early, so I just sat in her room while she was playing with books and shit. And like my site now has like these player props, and you can essentially put them into a parlay. So I picked 5 different ones and I made like a $10 bet that would have paid out 200. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I could make these all day. They're so addicting. And I had no chance.
I tried to do that. My website won't let me do the player props in a parlay. Ooh, that was a fucking mouthful.
Yeah. What do they call that?
When you do that?
Onomatopoeia?
No, that's backwards and forward or something.
Dodecahedron.
No, that's a shape.
Shit.
What the fuck? I know what it is too.
I can't think of what it is. You think about it. I'll go on to my next one. DJ, for the first time in 2021, I'm playing an over-under here. I'm going to go over on the Vikings-Cardinals game. It's at 51. I feel like this is kind of oddly low. As I said, all my bets this week, I'm going 0.2 units. That Cardinals offense.
Alliteration.
There, banged it.
God
there you go. That is your word too. Like you've used that in a sentence with me.
Yeah, I know what an alliteration is, and I don't know why I couldn't get the recall there because I've said it multiple times.
What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Where I was going, we just talked about the Titans. Man, that Cardinals offense was fun. Kyler Murray was pitter-pattering. Speaking of alliteration.
Yeah, he's going to get his fucking ass kicked the rest of the year. I mean, this is a product of overreacting, though. Like, I'm talking about overreacting. He's not going to be that fucking good all year. Like, he just played against a really incompetent defense. Like, that's all it comes down to.
I still think the coolest play from that game. Oh, I don't know, man. There was a lot of cool plays. That first touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins with his body control in the back of the end zone was phenomenal.
Yeah.
His second touchdown was sneaky phenomenal because he had a glimpse of where that last tackler could be and spun the opposite way and essentially was able to walk into the end zone. But the coolest play was still Murray just chucking that one up and freaking Christian Kirk, Willie Mays hazing that ball over his head and just bringing it in. That offense was fireworks. And we just saw the Vikings. What the Vikings give up to the Bengals? 20-some?
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins is he's so bad at football.
Well, he plays offense, so I'm focused on their defense right now. So it's not going to phase me. But I just think the Cardinals are going to – I see them flirting with 28, 30 points in this game, and I think it's going to be a close game. Like, I still don't mind. I wasn't impressed by any means of the Vikings offense last week. They started out terrible. It was penalties and sacks. That's every single play. It seemed like was a penalty or a sack. But they're gonna get Dalvin Cook obviously involved. I think Jefferson's probably gonna have the breakout this week after Thielen had it last week. And
he should have had a touchdown and he still had a pretty good fantasy day.
He still had a good day. Yeah. I look at this total and I see 51, and usually in the NFL game you see 50. You're like, well, that's a pretty high scoring game. Yeah. I think these two offenses have the ability, and I think we saw the Cardinals defense play probably the best game that it's going to play of the season last week. I don't see that happening again. You've got some good experience on that Vikings team. I just see points in this game. I think it's going to be a close back and forth game.
Yeah. Go ahead. I don't think the Vikings are as bad as what we saw. So I like that. I don't. I think they are going to be more competent this week. I don't want to take a lot from those weeks, those first week games. I typically like to get 3 weeks in and then start to make my judgments. And I love the overreactions, so I try to go on the opposite of overreactions. But I think the Vikings will be able to score, and obviously the Cardinals can. I love I hate Kyler Murray, but I love Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins stacked in fantasy. So I'll take it.
That's cheat code last week, man.
It was great. And I didn't even get a high score in that one league. But, yeah.
Oh, well. So you like it? You betting it?
Yeah, no, I don't mind because I think the Vikings. I think there's a chance the Vikings win this game. I really do because another overreaction to how the Cardinals played, reaction to how the Vikings played, and I just don't think that the Vikings are that bad. I think they're a second place in the division of the NFC North team because I saw them play a lot last year. They're still a solid football team. Kirk Cousins can put together some solid games.
Right.
Usually it's at that noon slot, but he just didn't this last game. Who'd the Cardinals play? I'm blanking right now.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm stupid. Yeah. Who's an incompetent defense?
You've been boozing. It's okay. Yeah. Got to get over that Packers loss. Mm-hmm. Let's go into one of my over-under totals into one of yours. You got one in the Rams Colts here, it looks like.
Yeah, so I put the under on the Rams Bears Sunday night. That ended up going over because Stafford's going to be the MVP, which I hit a future on already.
Wait, before you go, did that go over because of that last touchdown, or was it already over? You remember? It's not a big deal if you don't.
Over on I think his second long. No, not the second long because that was right at the beginning. I don't remember.
Okay, never mind then.
I was watching it, but Colts defense is so what happened is the Bears defense is over the hill and not good anymore. I didn't know that. I thought they were going to be better, but their secondary is
unfortunate though, right? Like that was going to be their calling card, especially if they turned to Fields. They needed to have that good defense, and it was non-existent.
No, their secondary has expired officially. Yeah. They're old. They're not as good as they used to be. We're used to tying the Bears in defense when they have an incompetent offense. They need to play Justin Fields. It's so evident and so dumb that they aren't playing him, and the whole thing that came out about week 4. Put him in the fucking football game. You're so stupid.
If you're a Bears fan, you cheer for them to lose this week just to accelerate the process, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually scared of Justin Fields. Like I am legitimately afraid of Justin Fields because I don't know how we're gonna defend him. But because the way David Montgomery, I'm already correct on David. I will take a victory lap on David Montgomery, my prediction on him, because he looks so explosive.
That was the one bright spot, man. Yeah, he was good.
He's good. He's a really good running back. I hope Mikey eats his poop once he finishes RB1. But what am I talking about? The under. So the Bears defense isn't that good. The Rams defense is really good. And the Colts defense is very solid. And that over-under was 48 last week in the Bears game. This Colts defense is much better. So I do think it's going to be much lower scoring. seeing as the Bears defense wasn't as good as I thought. There's not going to be wide open wide receivers just walking down the center of the field like Cooper Kupp was, with nobody in his area, or Van Jefferson rolling around and not getting touched before he, jogs into the end zone. Gerald Everett's back. Yeah, baby. That's a Seahawk, but I just thought about it because of the Rams. But yeah, I think this will be a defensive battle. Two really good defenses. One not as good offense in the Colts. I don't know what to think about them or their wide receivers. Jonathan Taylor I don't understand. He confuses me on a week-to-week basis. I don't get it.
What he's going to do, man.
He was terrible at the beginning of the year last year, whenever he'd get the ball. And then he got better. And now in this game, I just was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm scared Marlon Mack's going to get out there and go off once he gets fully healthy. And then Jonathan Taylor and him are going to split time. And it's going to suck for people who drafted Jonathan Taylor in top 5 like me.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. It's one of the more sneaky, surprising things from week 1 about how efficient and good the Rams offense already looked.
Yeah. Stafford is going to win the MVP. And if the Packers don't win the Super Bowl, I'm cheering for them to win the Super Bowl because, number 1, I have a future. Number 2, Stafford deserves to win. He deserves it more than anybody in the league. I am cheering for him. I don't care.
Him and the Dolphins.
No, fuck that. My colors just get weird.
Where I'm going though, it's like, had this game been played week 8, 7, whatever, I wouldn't be surprised with that kind of output from the Rams. But Jesus, to step in right away after just getting your new quarterback, and granted, he's a veteran, he can figure that kind of shit out. But to look that good against a defense that we thought was going to be top 10, 12 in the league. And they had a couple of lulls, don't get me wrong, but man, they also put it away. Man, they put the Bears just in a body bag in that game. It ended up not even just being anywhat close. So that was a bit like a sneaky surprise with how good they already looked. And this is why I'm a little nervous on this one, because the Rams already looked that good. And we saw Seattle just put up a lot of points against the Colts as well. So I know not everything goes week to week like that. That's really amateur analysis from that. But I don't feel strong one way or another on this one. This is a game that I'm interested in seeing how it turns out, but I wouldn't bet on it. Like, this is just a game that never crossed my mind to bet the over, the under, the Rams, the Colts. Nothing about this is appealing to me as a gambler.
I'm so confident I'm going to go 5-0 this week. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm like 100% sure I'm not going to lose a game. This is one of the more confidence I've felt about every one of my bets. I love the first 3 games of the season, and then lots of times it goes downhill the first 3 weeks of the season.
Man, the fact that you said that out loud though on a recorded medium makes me think like, Jesus Christ, I got to go opposite. Like, this is going to come back to bite you in the ass.
I have a plan to fade everybody in these podcasts that I listen to.
You're going to fade yourself?
I've tried to do it, but there's these people typically are just really bad. So why don't I just write down every pick they make and go opposite? Because they never have a winning record. Ever.
I've thought about that before. Like, you're guaranteed to, like, you'll probably hit like 60% of your bets just fading other people.
At least. Yeah.
Crazy. People should do that against us.
No, 100%. After week 3.
There you go. I got one more. This is an intriguing play. It kind of boils down to like what we said with the Bills. My play is the Ravens plus 3.5 versus the Chiefs.
3.5, he says, like a fucking idiot.
Then I say
3. You want to say
3.5? 3?
Yes. Yes, I wanted you to say 3.5. Why'd you say it like that? That's the normal way to say it.
Trace Decible Cinco.
Goddamn dumb gummies, you cool guy.
I've been drinking Bon chocolate milk stuff.
Bitch.
So I'm going to Ravens plus 3.5 versus the Chiefs, 0.2 units. I said on podcast last year, never a bet against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I feel a little bit like an idiot doing it
this week.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Like, not that they're beatable. I don't want to call them a beatable team. I still think they're probably the best damn team, but they probably should have lost that game to the Browns. And the Ravens should have won that game against the Raiders. And once again, I'm going back to
Lamar Jackson's incompetent too.
Yeah, we'll find out because there's a chance we'll get to this. There's a chance he's
I
kind
wanted
of
to
been
talk about one more
exposed.
thing.
But I'm going back to the fact that I have Baltimore winning this division. I think that they've got a pretty legit defense, and I think that offense, if it can get clicking, if they can play with a lead, that's going to help this team. I don't see Baltimore going 0-2. The problem is they play the best damn team in the league, so there's a pretty good chance. But I think this is going to be back and forth. It's going to be high scoring. I would tinker with the over/under on this one. I'd have to look it up again. But more so than anything, I think it's just going to be a close game. Over/under in Ravens Chiefs, yeah.
It is 55.
Yeah, it's a pile.
But the Cowboys Chargers is 55.5.
Yeah, that's like 56, I think I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Ravens in this one. I just think it's going to be a close game. I don't want to say it already, but the Chiefs have that Golden State Warriors feel to me, that they're going to win regular season games. They're going to win a ton of them, but it's not like it's their priority. They're not going to beat every single team by double digits
because it's the NFL and not the NBA. Like you have to win every game.
Yeah, it's just
a lot of games.
It's a very light version of how the Warriors would see things. But
82 games.
Right. There's something about this Ravens team that I don't see going 0-2, and the fact that they play the Chiefs, in the straight up pick, man, I'd still take the Chiefs, but I just think this one's going to be close. That Ravens Raiders game, it was incompetence on both teams, right? Yeah. Like no one deserved to win that.
I thought Josh Jacobs had a good game, but then I looked at his stat line. I was like, he had 2 touchdowns. I mean, he looked very athletic on his 2 touchdowns, but that was about it.
I think we're going to see the Ravens get Mark Andrews a little bit more involved.
No, 100%. He ran a ton of routes, just didn't get the ball.
Yeah, and there's still, that Tyson Williams and everything, but then another sleeper report, they're going to use every running back in the world, but they're going to get that stuff figured out. Harbaugh's a smart coach. They're still going to have a good defense. Mahomes is a gunslinger, man. He can turn the ball over every once in a while. I think this is going to be a close game. I'm not going crazy on it. It's 0.2 units because I think this is a primetime game, isn't it?
You know it's 0.2 because you already told us that all your games were 0.2.
Yeah, I like to reiterate in case people missed that. Idiots. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I want a little bit of action on it. Give me the dog plus 3.5.
Yeah, I will definitely bet this game because it's on Sunday night. I just want to talk. I didn't get to talk about this at the beginning. I wanted to talk about it. Can we just talk about Ja'Marr Chase for a second?
Please.
All right, he 100%. Pretty much, I am 100% convinced that he trolled. I never bought into it, but I'm convinced he trolled everybody. Like I'm not kidding. I truly believe this. This is satire. I truly believe he dropped balls on purpose, said that the balls were different. Like who says that out loud without trying to troll people?
He doesn't have the white on it.
And then said that he was sitting on his lazy ass for a year. No, he was not. Nobody says that out loud in the NFL. One of the big criticisms of like how he's dropping the ball. The other thing is he wasn't getting open. He wasn't separating in the preseason. Right.
Yep.
He had Patrick Peterson in a blender. He was getting wide open. Yeah. You don't just change. He was purposely playing bad. I honestly 100% believe behind closed doors, him and Joe Burrow, like you're gonna play like shit, like immediately in the preseason. And then you're going to come out and murder these fools. And that's exactly what he did. He was was wide open. He had no semblance of dropping the ball.
I'm a conspiracy guy and I can't even quite get onto that level, but
he was faking it 100%. I would do that. I would 100% do that.
Yeah, but you're fucking just wild like that. And you've been boozing a lot.
It's preseason. It doesn't matter. So why not drop some balls and say that the balls and colors are white so they're easier to catch? Like nobody says that out loud to the media on purpose without knowing that it's not real. Like
that is pretty wild.
And saying that he was sitting on his lazy ass.
And if your conspiracy proves right, which it has so far, he had 100 and some yards on 5 catches and a touchdown.
Yeah.
The thing is, man, like I was really of the belief that they were going to try to kind of ease him in, and it was going to be the Higgins and Boyd show. Fuck easing him in. He's in.
No, he's in.
We're here.
I never bought into it. Ja'Marr Chase is going to be fine. I don't believe any of this. Like, I didn't think he was faking it until like 5 minutes into the game. I was like, this was all fucking made. This was all an act. Everything was an act. And they did a great job.
the beautiful thing and the worst thing from like a fantasy perspective is I think of these three receivers, think about it like Dallas. Any of those guys can go off and be super fantasy relevant any week, but one of those guys every week is going to be like the one that's taken away.
It's going to be Jamar Chase all the time, I think. It's just Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, love affair, and it's going to be what it is.
I still think Boyd's going to have his weeks, though. Like, I'm not off the Boyd train
eventually, there's going to be matchups you like that other guys have the things, but I think more consistently, it's going to be the Jamar Chase show.
Consistently, I think you're probably onto something there with Chase and Higgins. Yeah, I don't know. Boyd's probably going to be the odd man out, but I still think there's going to be weeks where he pops off.
I mean, they're all good, so it's not like you can't like ignore. Yeah, but I think Chase is like the guy. I think he's going to be the consistent one.
Yeah, they didn't draft him that early to.
Yeah, not feet in the fucking rock.
Yeah, what a great line. The ball doesn't have white on it. I can't see it.
Yeah.
Christ. Like someone made a good point. Oh, so he sat out an entire year of college to prepare for the NFL, but didn't practice with an NFL ball.
Exactly. Nobody should believe that.
No one believes that. Not a single person.
Fucking idiots.
DJ, before we send this one out, do you have anything else besides Jamar Chase conspiracy theories?
Check out Friday Night Lines. I'm giving away bets. I'm giving away winners. Saturday and Sunday college football and NFL bets. One of these weeks, I'm going to have my boy Elliot Christon, who is just an amazing analytical gambler. He makes me look like an idiot. I gamble for entertainment. He gambles to win. So when he's on, make sure you join. If you like fun, make sure you join anyways. Drink and, let's have some fucking good times Friday.
Absolutely. So check out FNL. Also check out our website, loadaboxpodcast.com. If for some reason your waivers haven't gone through, we've got a waiver wire article. If you do play fantasy, we've got a start sit article. If you're a dynasty player, we got dynasty trade candidates, anything and everything you need that's gambling, fantasy football related. We've got it on Twitter. We're at Loaded Box. Next week, we'll be back to see how we did with week 2, and we'll be previewing week 3. We're available everywhere. Subscribe, rate, review. DJ, send us into week 2.
Bye.